Hello again. Today is the 1st of February. It's known as Imbolc in Ireland, and that term would be known to people who are interested in the old pagan religion across the world. They'd be familiar with that term. It's also traditionally the first day of spring in the mainstream modern calendar as well. So just a few thoughts about what this represents, really. I suppose it's a time of hope, actually, a time of re-emergence when we see the snowdrops and the crocuses coming up through the snow. It's very symbolic of new life, of regrowth, hope for the future, that we will have a decent spring, a decent summer, that the plants will grow, there will be plenty of food, the animals will prosper. And on a different level, you could say it's a time for sowing the seeds of your life, your plans, your hopes, of what you plan to do in this year ahead. And I think that's particularly important this year because last year was so bad for many people. And this year looks very uncertain. But I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and we mentioned that, well, the crisis is in the human world mostly. I saw a little wren. It didn't seem particularly bothered about COVID or about the financial collapse that's probably coming this year, or about sort of disagreements between people or politics. It just got on with its life, and the trees just grow, the grass grows. My point being, the plants and animals exist regardless of our craziness, and they will carry on living their lives. And maybe we could take a leaf out of their book, really, because so much of this is just a distraction from what's really important. If we live our lives on social media to the extent that we forget about the real world, that can't be healthy. Arguments in Facebook, but are just virtual arguments. They don't really matter that much. It's not going to affect what you've got to eat for dinner. It's not going to make the sun shine any brighter. It's just virtual. It's basically entertainment. It's an entertainment. It's a way of communicating, but it's not the real world. And I think we need to remember that as we go into the spring, and maybe focus on being grounded in our real lives and not stuck up in the clouds, stuck in the internet, because it can be a very unhealthy space. And considering the level of mental health problems that people are suffering as a result of all these lockdowns and having to exist in a virtual world more than we're used to, the antidote to do that is really to get out into the real world as much as possible. Use whatever opportunities you have to exercise, to be outside in the good weather when it comes, to maybe plant some vegetables, work your garden, get out walking. The world of nature is very healing and very grounding, and I think that's very much what humanity needs to do, is to return to the real world as much as possible rather than shooting off into the virtual world more and more. We're not ready for that. We haven't even managed to learn to coexist with nature or with each other in a harmonious way, and trying to integrate our lives into the computer environment, more and more into a virtual world, is a big ask. So I would not be one in favor of transhumanism or virtual existence or interfacing between robotics and people. I don't think is actually helpful at this time, and we'd be better off trying to ground ourselves. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for the moment. If you enjoyed what I've been talking about, please click the like or subscribe button. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.